There we go. There we go. All right. Before we get this round started, we gotta make sure we do some housekeeping items really quick. Let's see here, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you put those questions in the Q&A tab. It should be on the upper right-hand corner. You can't miss it. Can't miss it. Kai's cracking me up with the Ken gifts in there. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go and let these amazing people begin their session, and I'll be out back making sure our next rounds are moving smoothly and all that stuff. So Ryan, JJ, let me know if you need anything. Okay.
Well, thank you very much. And we're going to dive right into this one because we've got about 30 minutes and we got plenty to get through. So just so you know you're in the right place, this is the AI Rumble, and this is about separating the champs from the chumps. As Thomas mentioned, we've got JJ. Well, we all call him JJ and Sinch, but this is Joachim, the Belgian beast Jonkers. And this man builds plenty of great product at Sinch, and he infuses AI right into it. So he's our man who builds the AI, and I'm the man who makes sure we market it. So I'm product marketing manager at Sinch. I'm Ryan the lumberjack, hence the plaid McCutcheon. So the two of us will be taking you through the presentation today, and we are absolutely thrilled to do so. So just before we get into the rounds, JJ, do you mind just giving us a little bit of a walkthrough of the AI landscape right now?
Happy to. Thanks. So I just want to kind of remind everyone on where we are today with AI and email marketing, right? So uh, over 80% of Fortune 500 companies are using ChatGPT or similar technology, and that was in August of last year, right? So think about what that actually is right now. It's a massive, massive amount of companies that are actually using this. And when you zoom in a little bit on the email marketing side, it's really significant numbers as well, right? So we have 63% of marketers that use AI tools in their email marketing. So that means that probably 63% of the audience that's with us here today actually uses AI in some shape or form. So what do we do with that, right? How do we make sense of that? Um, it's easy to kind of use AI, but it's also really easy to get it wrong. So what we want to do today is kind of share with you how to do it right, what you should do, and what you should absolutely avoid to really get the most impact that you can. Ryan, back to you.
Absolutely. And hit the nail right on the head there, JJ. This session is all about doing it right, being a champ, not doing it wrong and being a chump, because AI is coming at us fast, it's coming at us hot, and we all got to figure it out. So we'll be taking you through four sections today. We call them rounds because this is email camp. So the first one is going to be all about copy and compelling copy. The second one is around image generation, because you might have seen AI can absolutely do that now. Third one will be around powerful personalization. And the fourth one is all about experimentation. JJ and I will be tag teaming across these, of course, in good wrestling fashion. And I'm up first into compelling copy. So the first one here, compelling copy. Well, oh my goodness, can AI ever write now? Am I right? It's been about a year and a half since ChatGPT blew onto the scene, and it's made it extraordinarily clear that AI can write pretty darn well as many of us, you or me. In fact, it actually blows through the benchmarks in terms of human performance. So we now very much have AI that can write at a very high level, and that's really important because that wasn't necessarily the case in past years. So, but if everybody can write at a high level, that means everybody is writing at a high level. And over the last year, we've seen an absolute explosion of content coming out, whether that's emails or campaign messages on other channels or blog posts, you name it. All the marketing content that can be written will be written. And there are many, many folks, we call them the chumps, that are just wandering over to ChatGPT and they're getting a blog post written for themselves, copy, pasting, dropping on their website. But you don't want to do it that way. You want to do it the right way. So the way at least we think that the champs are starting to do this is they're ducking into tools that are a little bit more, we call this tailored, a little bit more bespoke. The one here is Jasper. Our team in marketing uses this one a fair bit over here at Sinch. And this is one where you can dial it a little bit. You can play with it so that it actually writes in your own brand's voice, your own brand, your own brand styles, so that what comes out of the machine is much more tailored to you and your organization, and much more tailored to hopefully what sets you apart in terms of your brand ethos and your brand voice. The other thing we see is the champs tend to do it for brainstorming and maybe drafting, but certainly not final product. So can get you out of that writer's block, and it's absolutely fabulous for that. But it's rare that we see folks taking this to the final version. Just to give a really quick example of this, some of you might know this brand, D-Brands, fabulous company in Canada, another maybe group of lumberjacks. They love to joke that they have places run by robots, but when you actually look through their copy on the website, it's clear there's a couple brilliant humans behind the scenes. They're probably doing the brainstorming, but you get stuff like the MacBook Air M3, always judge a book by its cover. Oh, nice little lines like that. Tough to find the AI that writes stuff like that, but it can absolutely help you in the brainstorming towards that. So over to you, JJ, tag you in for our next section on images.
Great, thanks a lot, Ryan, and some great learnings about copy, right? Like it's so easy to get it wrong, but if you use it the right way, big benefits. And the same is actually true for images, right? I think probably most of the people that are listening in here today have used AI to generate some images and probably had a few chuckles along the way because it can lead to some really funny results. But what's interesting from a AI, from an email marketing point of view is, how, like, what are the rules that you should follow to make sure that you can get the most out of these AI generated images? Because you can create both a mess and a masterpiece. So I want to run you through a few examples today of how to do it the wrong way and which things you should absolutely apply it for, because in some cases it can be super powerful. So one that you might have found already is AI generated images can't deal with text at all, which is really funny because as a whole, like Ryan just mentioned, AI is really good at writing text, but somehow writing text inside of an image is an absolute mess. And you can see that in the example here that we tried to create a poster for the email camp event that we're on, and like even in the title it gets it wrong with the double C there, and there's a whole bunch of weird typos across the poster there. And the hard thing is, it's not like you can just say, oh, by the way, you made a typo there. Can you please go ahead and correct that? What will happen is it will likely just generate a whole new image, right? So which doesn't look at all like the one that we are seeing in front of us here. So fixing those typos is also not something that AI can help with, right? So generally speaking, avoid having the AI generate the text in the image itself. What's a way better thing to do is to actually layer on the text on top of it yourself, which can lead to much more powerful results. Another really interesting thing is, we all kind of love using AI because it's saves so much time, right? But it doesn't necessarily follow the brand and guidelines that many companies have in place, including Sinch, right? So if you look at the picture here on the top left, this is a wrestler who. So we thought, okay, we told ChatGPT, please generate an image of a wrestler for me, and make sure that this is Sinch branding, and this is what it comes up with. Which I kind of like the image, but it's not at all aligned with Sinch branding, which we can see in the bottom right there. So getting to a point where the images that you're generating are actually fully aligned with your brand is going to be really, really hard. AI is getting better at this, but at the stage where we're at today, that's still definitely a challenge and something to look out for. So how can you use it? So this is an example that we used in a recent marketing campaign. So there's three key parts to this image that you see here on the left. On the one hand, there's Marcus, and Marcus is the person there holding their phone. Marcus is an Adobe stock image that we like to use. It fits well with what with the message that we're trying to bring here. Then the second part is the design elements like the squiggly lines and all that beautiful imagery that you can see there. That's something that we created ourselves. And then you have the shoes. So the shoes are actually generated image by AI. So it's a simple object. It doesn't need to be very complex, but we don't necessarily want to go to some stock photo website and buy an image of shoes there. If we can just generate it and have a result that's pretty much as good or maybe even better, because the yellow that we're using in the color for these shoes is actually 100% the one that we need to fit with the brand here. So having these simple objects generated fast, that's really something that can help in creating some beautiful images. And then finally, a lot of the images that we like to create using AI are about putting a product or a person in the right context, right? So I took this image of the web on the left-hand side here, where there's a person with a backpack walking across a pebble beach. And let's say that this company wants to start marketing towards another segment in the market, which is more like outdoor oriented, maybe in another region that doesn't have any beaches nearby. They can use AI to quickly remove the background of that image, which is how you end up with the middle one, just a white nothingness. And then on the right-hand side, that same exact image is placed over an AI-generated background of that person hiking in the forest, and it gives a very different atmosphere in just a few clicks, right? So that can be a really, really powerful capability as well to to get some additional benefits there. So, Ryan, back to you.
Absolutely. And JJ won't admit it, but JJ and I are dated enough that we go back to the days in which we were sitting in front of computers, removing backgrounds by going through each individual one of the pixels around an image. So that is fabulously much faster now, which is absolutely, it is magic. So it's awesome. The section I'm going to go through now is on personalization. And this is an exciting one. This one is more, I'd say, arriving, but it is definitely going to arrive and arrive soon. And we're already seeing some, let's call it, some clear signs that this is coming very quickly. So in this group, we often talk about email or campaigns, and a lot of the time, a way we personalize them is by injecting some variables. So something like a first name or other pieces of the copy that we want to place so that each person gets a slightly different message. And that's been really important to marketing of all stripes over the last certainly decade. What we're seeing now is that if you place those variables into a prompt and you pass it into a generative AI system, you'll actually get a bespoke message for each individual person in your either audience or your contact list or your customer base. And that's potentially really, really interesting. And that really would take us to the place where you'd actually be writing a bespoke message to each individual person. But, and there's a big caveat to this, you're only ever going to be as good as the information you feed into the machine, right? And I'm probably going to sound like a broken record here, because who hasn't heard this story? And is this really novel? Is this really novel information? Garbage in, garbage out. But it will absolutely be this case if you don't make sure your good contact lists, your audience lists, things like that aren't in good shape. If they aren't in good shape, you'll never be able to do this. And the chumps are going to hope that, they'll be okay because the AI will come help them clean things up. Often it's not necessarily very good at that. And if you use a list that's got errors trickled all over it, you're going to have messages that are a bit of a disaster. So really keep that in mind. It's probably always been important to make sure your core data is in really good shape. Your audience lists are in sparkling shape. Of course, that's always been important, but keeping them in really good shape is going to let you do some almost superpower things, we think, with regards to AI, and especially with generative AI. It's going to allow you to be able to write out in a very personalized way at scale, which I think will be very, very powerful over the coming years. And it'll be able to do that in whether it's email or over into other messaging channels, certainly. And the other thing that I think is a bit of a dark horse here is that if you keep things really tidy in your contact lists and your audience lists and things like that, the other stuff that's been continually moving along and getting better under the surface is also really nice predictive AI models. And those can help you suss out segments that you might not have even found that are sitting there and are a valuable segment for you that you just didn't realize. So yeah, so as always, personalization is fabulous and important. And of course, at the root of it is your data. So no new story there, but well, if you get your data right, you're gonna certainly win in the next couple of years, we think. So JJ, over to you to take us through the last round and give us a little wrap up before we start getting hit with the Q&A and the hard questions.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Already looking forward to those. But first, let's talk a bit about effortless experimentation, right? So, how can you use AI to systematically improve the results of your marketing? And the reality is that we've been talking about experimentation for quite some time, even way before AI, and it's come up a few times during this event as well. The reality is that the chums don't do experimentation, right? And it kind of makes sense because like experimentation used to be pretty hard, and not really from like a tooling point of view, even though that can get complicated as well, but also like writing multiple email contents just takes a lot of time. And that's really where AI can shine as well, right? You can use AI to really quickly generate a few alternatives for a subject line, right? Give a few different options. It can give you a few different options for paragraphs. It can create different images faster, right? So you can kind of use AI as a superpower to help you create these alternatives way faster, which then allows you to experiment way faster as well. So that's pretty powerful. And another way that you can use this experimentation is actually also outside of email, right? You can, an interesting use case that we've been looking into is you take your content that you're using to send out in an email, you can feed that into AI and tell the AI system, use this email to actually now generate an RCS campaign for me or a WhatsApp campaign for me, which will take some of the images from your email, will rewrite the copy to better fit the format of that channel. So that allows you to not only experiment within your email campaigns, but also going across all of these different channels that we know are super valuable to kind of increase your audience and increase your reach. So in summary, use AI. It's super powerful. It can lead to awesome results, but you have to do it the right way, like the champs.
Do it like a champ. Yeah.
Love the hype here, man. All right.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm the marketing side of the coin, so I got to be the hype man.
That's so true.
Hey, thanks everybody for sticking with us here for the 20 or so minutes that we listen to ourselves talk to ourselves. But yeah, let's dive into some questions. Have we got any questions?
All right, Q&A time. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, let's get a round of applause for JJ and Ryan, by the way. There we go. All right. Let's get those questions going, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you put those in the Q&A tab and upvote the ones that we can that you want answered, so we can stay on topic. So, all right, let's take a look here, shall we? Okay, most upvotes. Okay. Okay, let's see here. How do you handle the AI versus human debate with clients, especially related to copy? Let me throw that up here.
Ryan, you want to take this one?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think in our case, so we sell software as well, and I'm maybe going to speak about it in that vein. We have customers that buy applications from Sinch to build awesome email campaigns or awesome WhatsApp campaigns or RCS, etc. And a lot of them, at bare minimum, want the capabilities to get some drafting from AI. And I'm thinking about our customers here, the folks who are building up big, awesome email campaigns or WhatsApp campaigns or etc. So we have actually delivered quite a number of tools or a suite of tools around AI to at least get our customers the capabilities that when they're building these things up to play a little bit with AI, to do a little bit of generation with AI. When we do build these, I think one thing that's worth mentioning is that very frequently we do them in a very, I'd call it an opinionated way. We do it where we really stress to the person who's trying it out, hey, use this for brainstorming, try this for drafting, help us get you through writer's block and things like that. And we always have what we call as a human in the loop before something gets sent out, right? So we give it to our customers, and we find they quite like it this way, is, hey, we give you the tools to try it out, but we're giving it to you in a bit of an opinionated way, in that we think you should use it for brainstorming, for getting through writer's block, that sort of stuff. But tweak it, make it your own by the time you actually send it out. So anything you wanted to add to that, JJ? You build those.
No, I mean,
but
I think
I market them.
no, I think it's exactly right, spot on what you said. The only thing I wanted to add is, in the end, what your customers are paying for is not the, not like who is writing it, but the end result, right? And that's what counts. And if you can use AI to create a better copy, then I think the customer should be happy that we can use that technology to leverage it to bring this to the next level.
Yeah.
Love it, love it. All right, let me see here. This one actually came from an external channel, and I really want to ask this one, but I want to know if I want to experiment with using AI to build our own solutions to improve efficiency, which of the top tools and platforms do you recommend? ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini? What are y'all thinking?
So I think my answer would be experiment, because and like keep on experimenting, because the quality of these tools are changing like every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes there's like a new model that's released, an update or whatever. And keep your like ear close to the ground when it comes to finding out what's new, right? Ryan mentioned this Jasper tool, which is something that we like to use, but it's very possible that a year from now something else comes out that like eclipses Jasper in terms of what it can offer. So look around, follow some interesting people on the socials, and you will get inspired by a bunch of tools. Definitely like the core ones like ChatGPT, like Gemini. Those are like the ones that are more general purpose, right? That you can kind of use for a whole bunch of different use cases. But because of that, they're also more limited, right? They're not really specialized into any particular use case specifically. Whereas things like Jasper and other types of platforms are really kind of set up to only be able to support this kind of use case, which sometimes leads to better results in those specific things, right? Because they're better optimized for that sort of experience.
One thing I might add too, if efficiency in your organization is your goal, then, I mean, I know it's been listed here, some of the big, let's call them the top shelf models, like the ChatGPTs, Cloud, Gemini, etc. But you can usually go looking, because we're starting, I wouldn't say we're at a mature place in this market yet, but we're starting to see a lot of extra tooling bake this right into what they have. So I'll give you an example, if you're a regular Figma user or something like that for design, or Canva or something like that, there's a lot of these tools that have baked this stuff sort of right into the foundation of their product, and take it out for a spin, right? I mean, you might have to talk to a couple folks in your organization to sort of cross some T's, dot some I's in terms of what's allowed and what's not allowed, of course, and that's very reasonable. But a lot of these tools you're probably already sitting in. I mean, if you're sitting in Atlassian Jira, or if you're sitting in all these tools now have AI capabilities sitting within them, and take those for a test drive, because that puts it right in the tool you're already working in, which I think is pretty exciting.
I never thought I would hear top shelf GPTs. That's a new term I'm gonna have to take with me after this. I love top shelf tequila, so that's what it was making me think of. So, but all right, let me see here. Moving through here. Now you want to know: do you think AI increases productivity or creates a longer feedback process on copywriting? We cough cough her are all becoming so dependent on AI first for feedback, and I sometimes feel like it actually takes me longer now that I rely on AI before turning over a draft to other humans. What do y'all think about this?
My reaction.
Go ahead, Brian.
my gut reaction is that it can be such an accelerant. I'll give you an example from my day-to-day is I often work with folks in brand and design and things like that. And being from a bit more of a technical business background, I wasn't there are places in design that I have a hard time. But now when I want to, I don't know, build up a draft of something that I'm thinking, a concept that I'm thinking that I want to pass over to someone in design, or especially when you need to work through a couple teams to get something built, getting an idea out of my head and just, even if it's rough, even if it's way off brand, but the concept is there, I can do that in such an accelerated way now. And the brand and visual team can take that, and I think it moves them as well, probably 2 or 3 iterations forward than where we would have started. So
Yeah, maybe one thing there is, like I think it kind of depends on how good of a copywriter you are yourself as well. Like how fast are you in writing this yourself? And I've found in some cases that by the time I kind of fully explain what I want to an LLM, it's, by the time, because I have all of the ideas in my head already, it's actually faster to just kind of write it. But if you're like, you're just starting out writing copy, then this can really give you that good sense as well, right? So it kind of depends on what level of speed and quality you want, and then you can kind of go from there.
I feel like I should caveat my response to, I responded as if it was for visuals as well, but for copywriting, the gains aren't as high for me, but for visuals, it's massive.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Love it, gentlemen. Love it. Love it. Well, I want to thank y'all so much for stopping by. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have today for questions. But Ryan, JJ, thank you so much for sharing so much of your knowledge on AI and how all these things work together. Where can the people follow along with, whatever you got going on, regarding to AI and omnichannel and the rest of the stuff that y'all are working on?
Follow. Go ahead, JJ.
Go ahead, Ryan. Please. Go ahead.
Well, you can always follow Sinch. We're going to talk plenty. We've already started talking plenty on AI, and we're going to talk more and more. Otherwise, myself and JJ in particular, we put him in the hot seat pretty regular, and this man is regularly explaining AI with our customers and out at events. So he was just in Amsterdam last week at Kipasa, and the man's a bit of a globetrotter around talking to customers and talking up AI. So yeah.
The only thing I've got to work on is my outfits, because I cannot beat Ryan's at all. So work to do there.
Exactly. Love it. Love it. Ryan, JJ, hope you get to work together again on some fun stuff. So thank y'all for stopping by. And most importantly, taking time out of your busy day to be here with us. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a round of applause in the chat. Please, please. There we go. There we go. And of course, the ham horn. All right. The best tag team of the day. Ryan and JJ, y'all, thank y'all so much. Hope to see y'all soon. We're going to go and get that break session started here in just a moment. So I'll see y'all over there in just a second. Take care.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.